Hello everyone, welcome again to another video. Before I start anything, I want to thank all my subscribers and all those who watch my video for the love and support. Thank you so very much. So for the materials, I have here pearls. This is 12mm pearls I have over here. And this one is 6mm metallic bead. This one, metallic gold bead. And my 50-pound fish line, I'm going to use this, and my plier. So let's get into the video. So with the thread, you can get your length that you want, the length design. So I get the length that I want, that my arms can take at a time. So I'm going to thread on the bead. First, I'm going to start with the pearl. So I'm going to start one pearl, and I'm going to add gold bead, one pearl, gold bead, another pearl, gold bead, then another pearl and a gold bead. So I'm going to cross. This is how it's looking like. I took 4 pearls and 4 gold beads. Those 4 gold beads are in between the pearls. This is how it's looking like, the number that you take. This is the gold bead, and now we are going to make one box of it. So I'm going to cross my other line into this pearl. I'm going to cross the line into the pearl, just like this, and pull down. This is how it's looking like. So on this line we are going to continue again, and I'm going to take a number. I put gold bead on both lines, both ends, then another pearl on both ends, another gold bead on both ends. So this is the number you are going to take again to make another box. Gold bead, pearl, gold bead. This is how it's looking like. And we are going to cross both ends into a pearl. I'm crossing the end into the pearl. Pull down. Just like that. So we have 2 boxes right now. This is how it's looking like. We are going to continue to pick the same number of bead that we took. The same number. I'm going to add gold bead, pearl, and a gold bead. And on the other end too, we are going to add the same number. Gold bead, you add a pearl and 1 gold bead. Then we are going to cross it into a pearl, the same number that we picked for the second one, the same thing. Here's how it looks like. Don't miss the number. If you miss the number, you are not going to get the 4 gold bead in between the pearls. So you have to make sure you are picking the right number. So I'm just crossing my both ends into the pearl. Just like that. So this is how we are going to continue to weave. We take the same number. I'm going to take the same number again. Same number, and we are going to cross it into a pearl. Cross both ends into pearl. Just like that. So here is 5 boxes that I've made. This is 5 boxes. This is how it's looking like. And we are going to make total of 6 boxes. 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to make 6. So this is 6 boxes that I've made, and we are going to turn on these 6 onto the side, and I'm going to show you how we are going to turn to the side. On this line, I'm going to put gold bead first, pearl, gold bead, pearl, gold bead. That is 3 pearls, and in between 3 gold beads. And on this line, I'm going to add gold bead, 1 gold bead on it before I cross it through the pearl, so that my line can turn on the side, and I'll continue to weave. You see, this is how the line turns on the side. And on this line, I'm going to add pearl, gold bead, pearl, gold bead, pearl. I picked up 3 pearls, and in between gold bead, 3 gold beads. This is how the number is. You have to pick up the right number. And on this line, I'm going to add 1 gold bead before I use it to go through the pearl. Now I'm going to pull that end through the pearl. Like this. Now I'm going to go through the next pearl. I'm going to use this line to go through the next pearl. Before I go through into that pearl, I have to add gold bead before I go through that pearl. So I add 1 gold bead, and I'm passing my line through the bead. That is how you are going to get your 4-4 in between the boxes. So on this line, I'm going to add, on this line, I'm going to add gold bead, pearl, gold bead, pearl, like this. Then on the other line, I'm going to add gold bead before I pass it through the pearl. This is how we are going to continue the weaving. This pattern is going to continue through the entire weave. We are going to repeat the same thing. This is how it's looking like. So I have to use this line to go through the next bead. Let me turn it this way for you to see. Okay, this way. So into the next bead, I'm going to add 1 gold bead before I go through the pearl. Like that. Make sure you are pulling your line. If you are doing it, pull your line tight. Now I'm going to add on this line, I'm adding gold bead, pearl, gold bead. That is 2 pearls, and in between 2 gold beads. And on this line, I add gold bead before I cross the line through the pearl. Now I'm going to go through the next pearl, but before I go through it, this one, I have to add 1 gold bead. Then I'm going to go through the pearl, this one. Now on the other line, this line, I'm going to add pearl, gold bead, and pearl. Gold bead, pearl, gold bead, pearl. That's 2 pearls, and in between 2 gold beads. Then I'm going to cross my other line into the pearl. With this one, I add gold bead before I'm going to cross it into the pearl. Just like that. Now I'll be going through the next bead, but before I go through it, I'm going to add one gold bead before I go through the bead. Now on the other line, I'm going to add 2 pearls and in between 2 gold beads. Gold bead first, pearl and gold bead, then another pearl. Then before I go through the bead with the other line, I'm going to add 1 gold bead. 1 gold bead before I go through the pearl. That is how we are going to continue, and we are going to have the 4 gold bead in between. So into the next bead, I'm adding gold bead before I go through that next bead. And on this line, I'm adding gold bead, pearl, gold bead, and pearl. Then on the other line, I'm going to add 1 gold bead before I cross the line through. And before I go into this bead, I have to add 1 gold bead. That bead is dark, it's not good, so I change it. Then I add 1 gold bead before I go through that bead. So we are going to turn to the side again to continue our weaving. So on this line, I'm going to add 2 pearls and in between 2 gold bead, like this. This is the number. Then on the other line, I'm going to add 1 gold bead before I cross my line into the pearl, so that my line can turn on the side, so I can continue my weaving. This is how it's looking like. 4 bead in between. Make sure you are picking your number correctly so that you don't miss the 4. On this line, I'm going to add 3 pearls and 3 gold beads. This is 3 pearls. Then on this line, I'm adding 1 gold bead, and I'm going to cross it into the pearl like this. Now I'm going to go through the next bead. Next bead, I add gold bead, and I go through the next bead. Now on the other line, I'm going to add gold bead, pearl, gold bead, and a pearl. And on this line, I'm going to add my gold bead before I cross the line through the pearl. And before I go through the next bead, I'm adding 1 gold bead to the line before I go through the bead. Now on the other line, 1 gold bead, pearl, gold bead, pearl. Then 1 gold bead on the other line, then I cross it through. Next bead, I'm adding gold bead before I go through the next bead. On this line, 1 gold bead, pearl, gold bead, and a pearl. Then I add gold bead to the other line before I cross it through. And into the next bead, I add gold bead. Then this one, gold bead, pearl, gold bead, and pearl. Then into the next bead, I'm going to add gold bead before I go through the next bead. Then on this one, gold bead, pearl, gold bead, pearl. This line, I'm going to add gold bead before I cross it through, like this. And now in this one, I'm going to go through the last bead at the end. I'm adding gold bead before I go through the bead. And now on the line, I'm adding gold bead, pearl, gold bead, and a pearl. And on the other line, then I add another gold bead again. On the other line, one gold bead before I cross it through. Then my line turn on the side again so I can continue my weaving. This is how it's looking like so far. It's a beautiful pattern. This is how it's looking like. So our line turn to the right again. We have to continue on this. I'm going to put three pearls, and in between 3 gold beads. So I drop the gold bead first, pearl, another gold, pearl, another gold, and a pearl. No, I didn't put a gold bead, so I'm putting gold bead and a pearl. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes. If you know you made a mistake, just take it out and correct it. Then I add one before I cross my line through. This is how the pattern is going to continue through the entire weave. This is what we are going to repeat. You turn, continue on the side, and continue your weaving until you get to your desired length that you want. So this is how it's looking like. This is our pattern. So we are going to continue, turn, continue until we get our big design. So here I am, and I'm continuing my weaving. I'm on the last row. I'm going to continue to finish. I'm on the last row of my weaving. I'm just repeating the same thing. What we are picking, I'm just repeating the same thing. Add gold bead before you go through the bead. The same thing we are continue to weave. Okay, now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. This is 17 by 7. 1, 2. This is 7 on this side. So 17 by 7. And we are going to fold it and make a bag. So in the middle, I'm going to pick 3 for the middle, and the side 7, 7. So these 3 I'm going to use for the base. I'm going to fold it this like this, and the other side too, so we can fill the side and make it into the bag. Okay, now I'm going to show you how. So this is 7. I count 7. This is my 7th bead. I'm putting my line. This 3 is going to be the base. So first I'm putting my line into the 7th bead, and I add 2 beads because there is 2 beads on the side already, so I added 2 beads on the line. I go to the 7th bead. Now my line is going to pick the first bead for the base. The first 3 beads that we are going to use for the base, I put my line through that. And on this line, I add 1 gold bead, pearl, 1 gold bead, pearl, and I'm going to go through the pearl. Now before I go through the next bead, I'm adding gold bead. This one, and pull. And on the other line, I'm adding the same number of bead again. Gold bead, pearl, gold bead, pearl. Then you cross it into it. Next bead, I'm going to add gold bead before I go through the pearl. Then on my next line, so this is the last 3 one, and we have 2. I'm adding 2 to the line before I go through the next bead, because we have 2 in the corner already, so I'm adding 2 bead on the line, the gold bead. This is 2 because there is 2 over there, and I'm going through the last of the 3 bead we are picking for the base. And now what we need over here is 1 gold bead and 1 pearl. That's all we need. And the other line, I add a gold bead and pull. I'm going to use my line to go through to pick another bead on the side. But before I do that, I'm going to add 1 gold bead and go through the pearl. Now on the other line, I put the same number of bead and I'm going to cross it through the pearl. Before I go through the next bead, I'm going to add gold bead to the line. And now I add the gold bead and I go through the pearl. This is the number that I take. And I go through the pearl. I'm going to go through the pearl. I'm going to go through the pearl. And the one on the side. So I add gold bead before I go through that pearl on the side. Now on the other line, I add gold bead and pearl. And on the other side, 1 gold bead before I cross it through. So now I'm going to pick another bead on the side again to continue our weaving. So I'm adding 1 gold bead to the line before going through the pearl. So now I'm going to pick out on this line 1 gold bead. I'm going to put gold bead, pearl, gold bead, and a pearl. And on the other line, I'm going to add 1 gold bead before we go through the pearl. The same way we weave the mat, the same way we are going to use the same method, the same number of bead that we are picking to complete the side. So I pick the same number of bead again. Over here, I'm going to tie and weave the rest of the line into the bead. I'm going to tie it a little bit over here. If you want to tie in between the bead. You tie, make it firm. And when you pull your thread through the bead to weave it back, that knot is going to hide inside the bead. You pull and pull that knot into the bead. That's how you do it. So I'm going to go through the side bead. And on this one, I add one gold bead. And this is the number that I need to complete that side, to complete the row. Like this. So this is how we are going to continue to weave to fill out the side. This is how we are going to continue. I'm going to go through this bead, but before I do that, I'm adding bead to the line before I go through the purl. Now, this is the number of bead that I have. I'm weaving my line into the purl to continue my weaving. I'm going to the next bead and I'm adding one gold bead before I go through the next bead. Like that. I'm going to go through the next bead again, add one on the line before you go through that. And I'm going to add a bead on my line, gold bead on my line first before I go through the side bead. That's where I can get my 4 in between the bead. So I'm going through the purl. So this is how we are going to continue our weaving. This is how we are going to continue. Trust the process. If you trust the process, you are not going to get it wrong. So that's how we are going to continue. And on my last end, we are on the last end of it, the last row. I'm going through the last bead. The last bead. And on the other line, I'm going to go through the purl. On the other line, I pick only one gold bead and the purl. So I'm tying it over here. I'm tying and pull tight. Tie in between the bead. Don't tie on the bead. In between. So when you pull your thread back, the knot hide into the bead. So this is how our side is looking like. So this is the side, this is the base, and the other side. How it's look like. This is our bag is complete. Now we just have to put handle on it. So in this one, I'm going to pull my line through. I'm going to pull my line through this bead. And the same number of bead that we pick to make the bag, we are going to pick the same number of bead. One gold bead, pearl, and one gold bead. Like that. Because we have pearl in between in the middle, that is the number we need. Now I'm going to pull. So we are just going to add number and build on it. Put the same thing like we start with, the same number of bead. This is the number, like this. Then I'm going to cross it into the pearl. This is how we are going to continue to build on it to make a handle. This is the handle that we are making. We pull another gold bead, pearl, gold bead. This is how it's looking like. and I'm crossing the line into the pearl. We are going to repeat. It's just a repetition of the same thing. We are going to repeat until you have your desired length that you want. And now this is what we have. So I'm going to cross both ends into that bead. I'm going to cross both ends. This is the length that I have. I think I made 13 total, 13 boxes, and I'm going to cross it, but you can make your desired length that you want. So this is 13 boxes that I weave, and I'm going to cross both ends into that bead over there. Just going to weave the rest of the line into the bead. I'm just weaving the rest of the line into the bead. Go through the gold bead and pull. Go through the gold bead and into the pearl. Gold bead into the pearl, and make sure you weave on the line that the pattern goes, your weaving goes. Don't just pull the thread through the bag. You have to weave on the lines. So this is how the first handle is done, and we have to do the second one. This is our bag. Looks beautiful and pretty. This is beautiful. So this is how it looks like. And I put the second handle. This is the side, the base, and the other side. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share my video with your friends and loved ones. Thank you.